Okay, I am live here for just a few moments. I'm trying something a little bit different with my camera setup and lighting. Um, Obviously, I'm just not in my normal element. So if you're catching me right now, uh, that's really all I'm doing. Got my nice ratty shirt on here and just testing this out to see what it looks like and whatnot. Lighting's not 100%, but it's probably going to be pretty close for the next streaming, which would be Work Harder Weekly here in just a couple days. So this is kind of what I'm doing is just checking it out. I'm going to replay this. So if anybody catches this, that's what I'm doing. Overall, not too bad. As you can see, I got to change the microphone placement. Keep hitting my head on it. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. Just checking out a little bit of a new setup before the week. And it's been a busy week. Hey, I know it's not Sunday. It's not Sunday. I'm trying out a new kind of a new camera lighting setup, and I thought, well, why not? I'll just go live. I've got a couple minutes in a manner of speaking, waiting on some parts to show up so I can finish up the week in a good place. It's been busy. We had the craziness of last week, the website going down, which was not a lot of fun. But on a good note, the website is actually faster than it was before. We ended up moving servers, and I gotta say, even with all the craziness that went on because of the website being down, having a new server for the website that is faster is just it was well worth the headache. So good there. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. It's Friday morning, so you guys got a ways till the end of the day and the weekend. I hope everybody's got a good weekend planned. I know here in Louisiana, the rain has been coming down. Most likely, it's going to be an entirely rainy weekend. I'd hope to maybe hit up a car show or something, go check some stuff out, but it looks like it's just going to be rain. What's up, Steven? Looks like we've got 6 people on here. Maybe might have to spend 30 minutes or so. If anybody has any trigger questions or anything that they want to hit me up with while I'm here, checking my phone because it's kind of like my in the middle of the day thing. I just thought I'd check this out. But if anybody has any questions, I'd be, ask me anything type deal. Well, almost anything. Hey, Mike, it's been a while. It's been a while, Mike. Good to see you. What is my favorite trigger? Well, my favorite trigger shoe is it's the Peacemaker. My own Peacemaker. There's a reason why I went with that design and worked with Gunco. I have worked with a lot of different triggers over the years, and there were some designs that I really, really liked, and getting them to be able to keep up with me was difficult. There were quality issues with some. Uh, when when finally Gunco and I had a really good working relationship over 2 years, they met all the quality demands. They could keep up with me, and it was an excellent design. It was a no brainer. So the Peacemaker trigger shoe, my own variant of the Gunco SS, is my favorite. That's my favorite. Outside of that, I would say my favorite design from an aesthetic would actually be the old tier trigger shoe, which is now that design is now owned by Glock Parts, I believe it is. So, however, from a function standpoint, that is actually not a great. I mean, it looks good. It can be tuned to run good, but it's actually very mediocre. But I love the way it looks. It's a curved trigger shoe. Um, just a beautiful design. Not the not the most not the best functioning right out of the box. It was probably the trigger shoe that I spent the most when I first got started playing with Glocks. The tier trigger shoe, I bought one. I really, 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 really wanted one because of just how good it looked. And when I bought it and spent more on it than I had spent on any other Glock trigger shoe, and then when I got it, it was probably one of the things that really pushed me into building triggers, figuring out what worked, because it wasn't any better than anything else that I had. And I spent more money on it, and I was very, very let down, aside from being beautiful. Boogeyman trigger shoe, which carrying. Have you ever seen them fail? Not a fan of the exposed coil spring. Fail. I have seen people get they were either trying to shoot too fast, or they had their finger too far up on the trigger shoe itself and have actually caught the safety on the frame and actually broke the safety. I've seen that in 2 instances over 5 years of working with those trigger shoes. Can you put a Peacemaker drop-in trigger shoe without any experience or special tools? Hey, Christina, good to see you. Special tools. You will need a pin punch, a 1/8 pin punch, so that you can drive the roll pins out of the dagger. Like special tools, not really. If you can go to PSA has a really good section on their website, and on the PSA Facebook groups, where it shows how to disassemble a dagger. It's a little bit different than a Glock because it has roll pins. That's probably the biggest difference. Other than that, no, it doesn't really take a lot of specialty tools or knowledge per se. So, not a fan. Yeah, the exposed coil spring on the Boogeyman trigger. Like I said, 2 out of like 5+ years, and many thousands, tens of thousands of rounds put through those. My own personal guns, I've not had any of those fail. So, but as I said before, the Boogeyman trigger shoes are pretty much going away. That I don't think they're doing any more runs. It's just they kind of had their time in the sun, I guess. I don't really have a lot of updated information from what's kind of going on with them, but they were one that I basically almost considered like my main trigger shoot, but I was doing it part-time then, and so I didn't have the requirement for as many as I do now. I would have considered using them full-time at one point, and I pretty much did at one point. But yeah, as it is now, Gunco keeps up with me. I've got another 200 followed up by another 100 trigger shoes headed in my way. It's a good trigger shoe. The if you really like that flat front face on the Boogeyman trigger shoe, that was one thing when we came up with the Peacemaker design of the Gunco shoe for myself. We widened the face so that it was a little bit closer to the full flat face of the Boogeyman. It's the Peacemaker is actually a little bit wider, just and that wasn't by changing dimensionally the width, because you're limited by the width in the frame itself, but just by changing the chamfers on the side of the trigger shoe itself, actually became less requirements for machining. So it's pretty neat, but it changes the way that it actually feels. And there's no exposed coil or anything like that on these guys. So Peacemaker's good. Yeah. So what else? I mean, like I said, this is just kind of a spur of the moment thing. If anybody's got anything, hit me up. I'm going to only probably be on here for another maybe 10 minutes or so. So this is Friday. I can't show any guns on the stream. I still have the frames, the Grit Grips frames here from filming the video on the Grit Grips frame. Finally got a chance to get back and do that. Remember, that was one of the reasons that that I stopped showing guns, was because the Grit Grip frame. I did an overview live, and they killed that. So I've been so busy that I didn't get a chance to do that video over again. But I did it yesterday. I've actually been on a roll with the YouTube. I put up 3 videos this week: the micro dagger from JM Customs, the SCT 43 frame from Shogun Customs, and then of course the Grit Grips frame. So I've been pretty busy. Yeah. And then we got cut off another time where we were doing a Sunday stream, and I got cut off with Brandon. So is what it is. I do need to transfer the videos that I put on YouTube over to Rumble. It's one of those things. I put things off. I'll try to get it done. Video wise, I want to continue doing some of the informational videos that I've had in work, but things get busy, so I hadn't had a chance to really upload anything. I managed to take some time this week. Next week's probably going to be kind of crazy, but we'll see. I've yet to try any frame except Shadow, and Shadow system is kind of a glorified P80 in my mind. I mean, granted, it's nicer, but it's not the top of my list of frames, aftermarket frames. I would say aftermarket frames, you're looking at the very top ergonomically and just overall function. Grit Grips, if you want to build a 19 based on a Generation 3. The next one up would be Nomad Defense, if you're looking for a 19, a 17, or like a 45 19X style. So hi Thomas. Wasn't really planned. I was just messing with some lighting and changing the camera, so I just went live, and I figured, well, if anybody shows up, I'll do an impromptu short little live stream, and that's kind of what we're doing. There's yeah, on the Shadow systems, they're not the tightest tolerance on anything. That they frames aren't the best tolerance. The trigger components are very hit or miss. They've gotten better on the trigger side of things, but they're still, quality wise, is just not there. Angry Sarge, good to have you here, sir. A little impromptu stream. Do research for this afternoon. Okay. We need to get you on the channel one of these times here soon. I have to admit, I've been very lax about getting guests. I get busy, and then the next thing I know, it's Saturday, and I've completely not gotten anybody for the show. Yes, the Zev OZ9. I gotta say, that's a really, really nice chassis. I mean, it's got its flaws. I've seen some fail, but overall, if you're looking to build the absolute race gun of race guns, I would probably choose an OZ9 just for that. But if I'm looking to build something, clean and still that can run on the range, like I said, Nomad or Grit Grips has always been good. Even the SCT frame is actually a really nice frame, but if you're worried about the ergonomics of it, and it's, it does have a few little sharp edges that might bother you, that kind of puts it out of the rating for that. Andy Strong, lusty timing. Okay. Nomad is mint. Yes, it is. I've been working with the Nomad since like right as they released. And I've had nothing but good things to say about the Nomad frames. when they came out with their newest generation, or their Generation 5 and their Glock 17, I had kind of pushed for them to make the trigger guard opening a little bit larger, and they did take that advice. So, all right, well, yeah. Angry Sarge, get you hooked up with something trigger wise. And I've seen a couple chassis crack. I know, yeah. I've seen a few. Like I said, it'd be good for a race gun. I know they actually have a contract out there where they're using them for duty guns. You know, hey, more power to Zev, I guess, if they can make that happen. But I've seen a couple cracks. The nice thing about the grit grips and the SCT and, well, anything not P80, it's just the molded in rails. That's probably my biggest hesitancy of the Dagger, and I would love to see them make like a version 2 with the molded in rails. Not to say that the Dagger rails are bad. I just would like to see the molded in rails like they did with the Micro Dagger. The Micro Dagger with the molded in rails, way awesome. Much better. Nuclear transport. I know. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I got to give it to them. They managed to make that contract happen, and wow. To meet that, it looks like they actually changed some of their trigger components. So I'm guessing, if anything, it made them somewhat more reliable. From what I have seen, the older Zev trigger bars, they were not the best. It does seem that they've kind of come up quality wise, just so they could, I'm sure, so they could meet the testing. But then again, I mean, we got the 320 in the military, so how good is government testing, right? I know, that's just me. Yeah, bending the leg with the groove. Yeah, it's a better design. It also, they changed the profile of the ones I've seen of their vertical extension as well. So no more. Yep, there we go on the vertical extension. Let me read this real quick. Like I said, this was I'm answering some messages. This is still in the middle of my day. You can see my nice, beautiful, ripped old Sendology shirt. Love this shirt. It's very comfortable when I'm not wearing a Tactical Pontoon shirt from Stewart at Nordic Nevadan, which you can order on the website. I just didn't want to get it too dirty here. I got one of my Tactical Pontoon shirts that's just got oil and transmission fluid from an unfortunate accident out in the shop from this last week. But okay. Anybody else have any questions or anything they want to bring up before I jump off here and continue with the rest of my day? And is the lighting? What do you think about the lighting? You definitely see some of the baldness. You can see I do need to shave and work on things. It's been still in the middle of the week. I'll get cleaned up before we do Work Harder Weekly. Get on my Sunday best. Good. Okay. Lighting looks good. I'm thinking about maybe hanging a backdrop, just a black backdrop in the background. That's kind of something I've been thinking about for a while. I would love to set up an even more dedicated spot for filming. And if you've watched some of my older videos, I tested a few out where I was standing up, which is fine. I'd be fine with standing up. And that was kind of neat. I had kind of a faux brick background. I'd love to bring that back. So I'm thinking about doing something like that. Workbench is more of a vibe. Yeah, I got the workbench in one of the workbenches in the background, which I kind of like, actually. That's why I turned the light on for the little mini mill. kind of give it some work background. So okay, well, we got so far everybody's liking the workbench in the background. So maybe we'll just leave that. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I didn't turn on. I did turn on the light that looks like my little candle in the background is on. My little fake candle that goes in the background. Sometimes you see the flame back there. I turn the light that kind of shines on me. It's an effect of having the little candle that back there that's blinking on me, but it's actually not. It's another light to kind of simulate that, because I'm tricky like that. I enjoy the lighting aspect of film and photography probably more than most things. So I'm still not great at it. And with kind of my limited ability to move, because I still have to work in here, I can't add a bunch of extra lights that I then have to move around for something that really, isn't a massive part of my my business. Can we do a raffle for a candlelit dinner with you? Are you flying me out? Where are we going? I can eat. Trust me, I can eat. So that might get kind of expensive on whoever wins. Unless I'm paying. Am I the one who's raffling to pay? Shit. We can have a candlelight a stream with me on Sundays, myself and Brandon, which is still on for this Sunday. I got it all set up. We get the Rumble leak active here in another another day. You can only schedule 24 hours early on Rumble. Hopefully one day they'll get that fixed up, but until, we'll just get it done that day or the day before. But as it is, I fancy dates to McDonald's. It's funny. I hadn't been to McDonald's in probably 3 or 4 or more years, but we did, while we were in Roswell, we did go to the UFO themed McDonald's in Roswell. Food wasn't great, but it was fun to be in that McDonald's. It was pretty neat. So yeah, it is premium price nowadays. Everything seems like it's premium price when it comes to food outside of, well, any type of food. It's all premium price. Taco Bell. Hey, I'm in. I'll take a crunch wrap with some Cheez-It. All right, guys. I'm gonna jump off here. Thanks for the input on the lighting and hanging out for a few minutes. I better get back to work because I got stuff to do. As it is. Catch you guys later.